Welcome back to Trim and True. I'm Headkrack. Today we're in the chair with Memphis Master Barber, and our special guest, RouteKing. This is more than a haircut. It's a real check-in on confidence, consistency, and what it takes to stay locked in on your route when life gets loud. Welcome to Trim and True. We got my man Memphis Master Barber in the building, man.
Thank you, man.
Yo, man, what's your story, man?
Man, where would we start? From the beginning,
Are you
middle,
really from Memphis? Let's
born and raised.
Let's go with that.
I'm born and raised in Memphis.
Got you. So what got you from Memphis to Atlanta?
Okay, well, again, like I said before, I was fighting for a living. So my coach named Jeff Mullins had told me about there was better fighters here in Atlanta. So that kind of brought me here. So when I got here, I looked up with a dude named out of Douglasville called Titan Kickboxing.
Okay.
And we went from there.
So barbering, or the art of styling, making people look great, wasn't necessarily the way you came. It came. You was in the game of making people look worse by beating them up. You know what I'm saying? You changed your life and moved it over. So what drew you into the world of fighting?
My dad.
Okay.
You know, my dad fought back in the 80s. When I was a kid, I used to go to his tournaments and see him fight. I mean, it was a dope experience as a kid. And he was like, so one day I was at this store, and this kid said, your mama, your daddy to me. And I'm like, what? So I had to fight two kids, and my daddy walked outside. It was a place called Central Hardware back in Memphis.
Okay.
So my dad walked outside and saw me fighting two kids. And I think that was one of the most proudest moments to see his son beat up two kids at the time. You know, and at least said, hey, you can use that energy in the fighting now. So he put me in karate.
Yo, it's so different, how the mother or the father would interpret that whole experience. Because how do you feel like your mom would have felt about that?
I don't know. You know, she was like, Dedrick, stop. Well, so I think it was dope, man. You know, but I was young then, man.
I was proud for you. When you told me you was out there whooping up on two kids.
Man.
This is something about the gladiator, element of it all that I just think we as men, we appreciate. Being able to hold your own, defend yourself no matter what the odds are.
Yes, sir.
There's something to be said about that.
Yeah.
So, all right, that game got you here to Atlanta. You're doing the different, events, tournaments. How long did you continue to fight?
Up until 2005. I fought out of Florida, this place called, an event called IKF. It was the International Kickboxing Federation. They had a 250-man fighting tournament back then. And yeah.
So when you do a tournament like that, right? Are you fighting multiple people in
Yeah,
one day?
it was a 3-day event.
Okay.
So it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So yeah.
How quick are the rounds?
3 minutes.
Okay.
1 minute rest.
So after a bout, how much time do you need to recuperate? Because in boxing, a guy will fight and then they'll take some time off.
So they had time frames, maybe an hour off or 30 minutes, between 30 into an hour frame before I had to fight somebody else.
Got you. That's a hell of a ask on the human body. But yo, man, you're here to tell your story and
yes, sir.
We're rocking out. So after your last fight, what made you, did you know that was your last fight when you fought?
Yeah, I said I was done. Because it wasn't no real money in kickboxing back then.
Understood.
Everybody tried to convert me over to doing MMA, and I would say, no, ain't nobody finna grab me.
It's, because I look at what you do as yo, that's a maniac's game. But there's levels to this maniac game. Because to people who don't box, they'd be like, boxing, it's a maniac's game. UFC is what do you feel like is more maniac game? UFC or bare knuckle fighting?
I like bare knuckle. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, UFC, you have your cutting points, but bare knuckle, it's nothing. UFC, you still got pads on.
Mm-hmm.
Bare knuckle is just straight, wrap half your hands and them knuckles out. So
Yeah, like I watched mad people get a reverse facelift in bare
Yeah.
knuckle fights. You know what I'm saying? Like just like man, they out there looking like like chopped lunch meat by the time everything's all said and done.
For sure.
So last fight is in 2005. Were you cutting hair at that point, or you
Yeah,
decided to
well,
start doing it
nah,
that
I
way?
was cutting hair back home in Memphis.
Okay,
Yeah, a couple things happened where I had to transition from Memphis outside of me fighting. So I had to get out of Memphis.
got you.
No.
Like now, when you the first time you cut hair, was it going through a barber school or like
Nah,
most
I was
people just
13 years
practicing?
old.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad messed my hair up. He gave me a bowl and sent me to school like that. And then from there, I picked the clippers up and I ain't never looked back.
Did he give you the bowl as a punishment or like?
Nah, he just didn't know how to cut. And he just said, here, I'm gonna just, he ain't had no money at the time. So he was just, I'm gonna put this bowl on your head. I'm gonna give you a bowl. That's just what it was.
How many days went by before you decided to like, yo, I'm gonna figure this out myself? Was it like the first day you came back from school, or
Yeah, because I just get Joan at school, man. Like people just laugh at me, talk about me. Somebody that was Joan me. Like back home, we Joan a lot. So yeah, I mean, we straight on you, and it's the worst feeling in the world to be joked on all day throughout the school, and you walk around with all this hair and the rest of your hair just a ball. Yeah, nah, man.
so first time you did it yourself, did you nail it, or did you?
Nah. It took me about 2 hours to cut my hair. But, you
Okay.
know, I messed it up a couple times, but it just takes time. You know, like, with anything you do, you know, you got to practice. So, you
Yeah.
know,
So
but I
you,
got good after a while.
you took it from a bowl to a what?
Ball fade.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were you going for?
Ball fade.
Oh, okay. Mission accomplished.
Yes, very
You
simple.
did it. All right. So from that time on, did you continue to cut your own hair?
I did. It was a dude up the street that from back home, like they was in South Memphis. So the dude up the street used to cut her too, and I started going to watch him, you know, cutting everybody in the neighborhood and stuff. So from that, I started stealing his clients because he was charging $7. I started charging $5. So
Simple economics. It's gonna win every time. You
so
know
that's
what I mean?
actually how I got better in what I do.
Got you. So when did you feel like you became a professional?
Man, I'm trying to think when. When I knew I could make some money, some real money.
Okay.
So when it went from $5 to $15, I knew I was doing something then. But that was back way back then. My haircut wasn't $50.
Yeah. Like the quantum leap in price is
Yeah.
crazy. But but $15, that was that was a
was
lot of
good.
money to have at like one time. Like you tell me I can get this like every 30,
Yeah.
45 minutes. Let's go. Like legal trapping.
For sure. Big time.
So when you had somebody in your chair that wasn't yourself for the first time, how did that first cut go for you?
Nervous.
Really?
Yeah, real nervous. I ain't gonna lie, man. I was asking my other partner, Gino, hey man, how you did it right there? Did that look good? Like I always ask another barber to make sure that I was good, you know. 2 hours always better than one, you know. So but I was nervous though, I ain't gonna lie.
What did Gino say?
He said you was good, but he said, hey, you need to bring it down a little bit, you know. But I was always take a design, put a design in somebody's head. When I mess their hair up, I said, hey, you want a design? They be like, yeah, all right, cool. So I just use that design just to throw it off. So
Oh, like it's kind of like blending it in by like
yeah,
it's kind of like when a chick is a cover up tattoo. Like
Yeah.
you say Mick, now it says Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you just like remix it.
hmm
What were the tools that you used back then? And are these the same tools you use now?
No, actually back then I used Andes
Okay.
and I used little walls. But back then, when I first started, I used the Conair.
Oh, so you can get it like Eckert's.
Yeah.
Did they have Eckert's in Memphis?
Now they had Super D
Super D?
drugstore.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yep, I used to use Conair, man. And how I used to sharpen my clips, I used to take them outside and stick them on the concrete and sharpen them that way. I had one pair of clips and did everything.
Is that normal?
Nah, I just didn't know. At the time, I didn't know nothing about how to sharpen your blade. So I improvised.
Hey man, that's what we do, man.
Yeah.
Like the hip hop culture, we gonna figure it out.
Oh yeah, for sure,
Every
man.
lap. So so you started with the Andes, then got the Conair,
Well, I started with Conair first.
and then got the
I
Andes.
upgraded to Andes.
Got you. What do you use today?
Babyless.
Yo, that name has been popping up a lot in the
Yeah.
conversations. What makes Babeless, and am I saying it right? Babeless?
Yeah.
What makes them different or better? Why do you prefer them?
They light. They're easy to work with, and I mean, I never was big into heavy clippers. I always like the light clippers. You know, I don't like nothing too heavy in my hand. You know, so I like the Babeless, man. I mean, the cutting, the blade, just the whole breakdown of the clippers is good.
That actually makes sense too, because like when you're doing what you do all day, just the fatigue of holding that weight, even a light weight, if you hold it for a long time, and after a while, it kind of a little wear and tear. You know what I mean? So that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Man, so what's the thing that people come to you for that you feel like you're a master of? You know what I'm saying? Like some people might be, the don when it comes to like designs, the fades, the tape, or whatever. What's your specialty?
I'm all around. I ain't gonna lie. I'm killing the design game. Period. So, I mean, that was one of my specialties was doing design.
What
Like
was one of your first ones that were like
Sylvester.
the cat?
Yeah.
Get out of town, like in Memphis, or by the time you got to
Down
Atlanta?
here
Really?
in Atlanta, I was doing a lot of like when I first got out here to Austria, a lot of people wasn't doing design. It was just one dude that was doing designs, but yeah, he wasn't that. I don't care to talk about him. But anyway, cause he used to use up all that glitter stuff in people's heads. Back then I was
Oh,
using
okay.
color pencils and stuff like that. But when I got out here, I made a name for myself by doing designs. And I just ran from it from there.
Yeah, like how long does it take you to do something as intricate as like a Sylvester?
Back then, about 20 minutes. You know, and that's me actually cutting the whole, looking at the picture, cutting it out, I mean, just doing it.
Did you used to draw growing up?
Yeah.
Yo, like, and it's weird, like the more and more of these we do, like, and it totally makes sense, right? Because like it's also art what you guys do.
For
Instead
sure.
of using a pencil, you guys are using a blade and getting some really dope results. What's the lesson that you learned in the chair, like since you've been cutting?
Patience, peace, and just being somebody else's um, motivation,
Word.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, you guys do so much for people. Because like you could be coming in, you're a little down or whatever, but there's something about like, when you spin that chair around and you look in the mirror or like they hand you the mirror and you're like, you like what you see. It does a lot for them.
It also does a lot for me too.
I was about to ask you, what does
Yeah.
it do for you?
It just, I can have a bad day. I can have stuff going on in my life. When I'm in this world right here, I don't care about nothing else. Like it bring me that much peace to to make somebody else feel good.
No,
To see
love
the
that.
smile on their face. They done had a messed up day, or kids got on their nerves, or wife and pissed them off. I mean, yeah, it feels good, man.
Like, do you prefer it, sometimes people like the calm before the storm, like when it's quiet, day's just beginning, nobody's in the shop, you getting ready for your day. Or do you prefer it when the shop is bustling and there's all the noise and you're in work mode?
I like my peace. I like coming in, put on my gospel, let it vibe for a minute, or I like to listen to my old school. That kind of gets my day started,
Hey,
and just to know that I created something that always was a dream for me. So,
yeah. How long did it take this to come to fruition? Because a lot of times, people might have an idea of something that they want to do, but they don't know how to take that first step. And then once you take the first step, what's the second step?
right.
Like, from the day you decided that you wanted to have your own shop to actually seeing it come to fruition, how long did it take?
Well, I actually opened up a mobile barbershop first.
Okay.
Actually outside. That was my first step was with that. It was an idea that me and my wife had, and I just made that into reality. When people were like, "Man, that ain't gonna work, man. How you gonna do that? That ain't gonna do." So from that motivated me to open up a shop, and I knew once I can do that right there, I can do anything.
Word. Yeah. Now you mentioned your wife. I also know you have kids, 5 of
Yes, sir.
them. Daughter aside, are you responsible for cutting all your kids' hair, or do they go
Actually,
school?
no, just two of them.
Do you feel a certain way about like all your boys not wanting to come to you to get the
Well,
cut?
well, my oldest son, he's a lawyer,
Okay.
so
Okay.
yeah, he's not even here in Georgia. So yeah, but the rest of them, they cool. They come no matter what. If not, I'm gonna beat them up.
There's a different type of like, when you do what you do, man. Like it's a different type of fear that come with that sometimes. Like I'm
Yes,
sure
sir.
the intimidation fact. You probably only gotta tell them to do something once, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they understand the assignment. In your opinion, what separates a good barber from a great barber?
What separates a good barber from a? Can you repeat the question one more time?
Like, there's some people who could cut, And there's some people who get the title of Master Barber. They really got it. You know what I'm saying? So what separates a guy who's out here that's just good cutting from a master, somebody worthy of the cape?
I feel like the person that got it out the mud, the person that was on the front porch with that sheet around that person's neck, you know what I'm saying, in the kitchen. I feel like those separate you from the dude that just say, hey, I want to be a barber today. I'm just gonna go to school because I see the other people making six figures or, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's a big difference from somebody who actually learned it versus somebody say, hey, I'm gonna go to school today and because I've been not making enough money, but I seen everybody else making bukus of money doing cutting hair. That's a difference for me.
Got you.
Cause I got it out the mud. Like, didn't nobody teach me how to do this. I woke up, my daddy messed my hair up, and I grabbed them clippers.
Now, I feel like some of the best barbers do have a good origin story. You know what I mean? Like kind of like a superhero. But they shot Spider-Man Uncle Ben. Now he do what he do. Like
sure.
That bad haircut was your canon event that set the trajectory for you to do what you're doing now. What's the hardest part about staying consistent in all the things you do when life gets busy? You know what I'm saying? Like, that work-life balance, being there for your kids, maintaining the mind, all the things, and still running a business. How do you balance it all?
I look at what I gotta do in life. What's my goals? Like, who I gotta provide for? That what motivates me to keep going. I'm in here 7 days a week.
Dope.
Not because I got to, just because this is what I love to do. This is my passion. Like, I don't cut her for the money. I cut her because this is what I truly love to do.
I tell people all the time, it's not work if you love what you do. It's a calling,
Yeah.
And I could definitely see it that, you take pride in everything you do. If a young barber is watching this or anybody in the entrepreneurial space, what's a mistake that you would want to see them avoid?
Get away from that black spray enhancements. Because enhancements has basically took over the barber industry. From the black paint to all these new different type of sprays coming out. Go back to the original clipper work. So, I mean, I tell a lot of upcoming barbers, don't get so caught up with using black spray. Because once they go home and wash it out their head, they see all your imperfections.
Yeah. No, that's, true things have never been said. You know what I'm saying? Like you can do something in a way where it'll last for like a moment, or you can do it to where it'll last forever. And like, yeah, like what doesn't come out in the wash comes out in the rinse. Something like that. I think I heard them say. And like, you're right. You know what I'm saying? You might walk out of here looking good, but you can't get in the pool.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Sometimes when I look at like pool party pictures, it just be like a lot of dudes just standing on the side of the pool.
Yep.
Because they'll age 50 years coming out of there. Like they got dipped in the fountain of anti-youth. It's rough out here, man. But yo, man, great game, man. Where do you see yourself going, business-wise in the next 5 and 10 years?
I feel like I want to open up more barbershops. Yeah, basically open up more barbershops, man. Teach. A lot of people who want to learn, then I'm a teacher, but you gotta want it though.
That's what's up.
You gotta want it.
Like how long do you like on average, right? And I know we had the conversation about people who decided that they want to do this just because they saw people making money. On average, how long do you feel like it takes somebody to start, to go from being just a person who's inquisitive about wanting to do it and becoming good at least?
Years. It's not a time frame on it because you can always learn new things. I still learn new things. Thank God for Instagram. Thank God for YouTube.
What's the last thing you learned? Like something that you saw new that's like, wow, okay.
Scissor work, shears, learning how to take 2 inches off a person's head by using comb and some shears. Like, I'm still learning different things. Like now I want to get into doing women hair. I want to learn how to do short styles.
Oh, dope.
So
yeah, like I miss like having like the pictures on the wall with the little squares, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is the last new hairstyle that dropped?
Ooh, I don't know.
Like, do you think we're maxed out? Like, do you think we'll ever get a new style? Like there hasn't been an innovative new beard style in, I don't know, 10, 15 years. Um, the last haircut that came out that people, and I'm sure we'll get to this, I'm not even gonna say what it is, but the last new hairstyle that I remember coming out, people hate now. So like, what is the last one you remember?
Mohawks, really. That's about the last one I remember.
Oh yeah.
Mohawks.
Where you at with that? Do you like it?
Yeah, I used to be the Mohawk King.
Say word.
Man, listen. I cut hell out some Mohawks now. For real.
Yo, man, shout out to Mr. T. You know, the pioneer of the Mohawk, even though that's not how they were doing it. But
For
like,
sure,
yo,
for
man,
sure.
like, people weren't as bold to do the bald side with the Mohawk top.
True.
It was a choice.
True.
And he had a full head of hair. He decided to do that.
I ain't know that.
Yeah. You thought it just grew like that? Like,
I thought he was just bald and just, I mean, I knew it was, he had the lick thing, but I'm just looking like, I didn't know he had a full head of hair. I thought it was just.
Yeah, no, like, yeah, he's like, one day I'm gonna do this. Well, let me do it. You know what? I'm gonna do this one. And then like, yeah, like he chose that. Like, yeah, like when I saw Jadakiss with hair, I'm like, oh, you chose to cut it? Like,
Oh, wow.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
Like,
I did the same thing. I got hair, but I just told him to go bald head.
oh, but you disrespected mad people who like wish they had it. Like playing in a lot of people's face right now. So when you see him in 6 months with a tightly cropped fro, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
just know he can do it this whole time. Yo, man, Memphis, great conversation,
Thank you,
man.
man.
We got your partner Route in the building. We're gonna
For
chop it
sure.
with him. And thank you so much for sharing your story with us, brother.
Thank you, man.
Anytime, man.
Yeah.
In the show, we got the one and only Route or Route, depending where you're from. What do you prefer?
RouteKing.
RouteKing, man. So, brother, you have a phenomenal story from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Most of the zones. Like, how many zones have you lived in out of the 6?
I think pretty much at least 2 of them.
Oh, okay. I thought we had 3. I thought we had so zone 3.
So
right?
it's so I grew up in Summerhill.
Okay.
Right? That's the early parts of my life.
Okay.
Right. Zone 3. And then I moved from there to the West End. What zone is the West End?
Man, you asking the wrong person.
Yeah, because we didn't really claim zones like
I
that.
thought Mableton was a zone.
Yeah,
And then,
Mableton's
like somebody
not.
was like, "No, you're no zone." I'm like, "Well, damn, I
Yeah,
wanted
so
to be in."
It's weird, man, because I wasn't into the street stuff and nothing. Like my mom and dad wasn't playing that, so I didn't care what zone it was. But we moved from Summerhill to the West End until now, where my mom still resides to this day, to the West Side over there, Martin Luther King.
That's what's up.
So I just call it all the West Side.
All the places I've heard rapped about in most of the popular songs for the
Yeah,
last
no
15
doubt.
years. But you avoided the street life, but what you found was football.
For sure.
And not only did it pour into you, you used that energy to pour into others.
Absolutely.
So when did you fall in love with the game?
I fell in love with the game at an early age. Just coming up in what we called the pot nets, back then. We was always outside playing. And we played every sport that you can think of, from football to basketball to baseball, and I think one of the sports that I really started to push myself toward was football. I was a natural at it. We used to play throw 'em up, bust 'em up, throw up tackle, whatever you call it in your hood, wherever you from. I was one of the fastest one out there, didn't want to get caught. Every time I get the ball, I'm scoring every time. And just coming up, I was just knowing that kid, like, man, he gonna be something. Like, y'all keep him out the streets. Like, every hood got a hustler.
Yeah.
And the street guys, but they were like, nah, you stay over there. And shout out to my big brother. I had a big brother, Rico. So he definitely made sure that, I stayed out the streets and just stayed focused on that.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Man, for people who are just seeing you for the first time, I
Yeah.
mean, you got mad fans though, but like for people seeing you for the first time, give us like the synopsis of your story. Like, like for football, where we are now and how you like pour into the youth.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll give you a quick rundown. So I go by RouteKing because the name of my company is RouteKing Training, LLC. My real name is Hilton Alexander, right? So once again, born and raised here in Atlanta, Georgia. Played football, coming up, ran track, did all those things. Went to Southside High School. It's called Maynard Jackson now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Maynard Jackson now. And I used to ride the MARTA to school because I lived in the West End. But so my zone school was really Washington High School. But I got accepted into the Magnet program. And they would give me a MARTA card. I get a free MARTA card to ride MARTA to school for all 4 years. And so I went to Maynard Jackson High School. I played football and ran track there. I was one of the all-city players in football and track. I wound up getting a full scholarship to go to Marshbound College. All right, so shout out to the AUC and the
Yeah.
HBCUs. Yeah, all right. So I went to Morris Brown College. Ended up being a two sports star there in football and track. I was an All-American in football and track, and I wound up going to getting an invite to the NFL Combine in 2001. Ended up signing with the San Francisco 49ers as undrafted free agents coming out of Morris Brown College, and that was huge. You know, from a black college athlete to get an invite to the Combine. You know, I was able to dominate at the collegiate level, and that was a blessing within itself just to make it that far.
Wow.
And you know, it was just I was just thankful and grateful for the opportunity.
You know, a lot of times people like dream of doing the big thing, and you got a chance to do the big thing. What do you do? What does that do to you mentally when you finally get to do the thing that you dreamt about doing?
Yeah, it was just an unreal feeling. You know, like I'm really here, right? And so a lot of kids dream about making it to the NFL, but I think they need to dream bigger. And I didn't dream bigger. I just wanted to make it. Like I made it, but not just make it, but have some long-term sustainability there. Like be one of the best to ever play that game. And my career was short-lived, right? I got hurt in my third year when I was with the 49ers. And my career was over in the blink of an eye. You know, you didn't think about it being over that fast. You know, I remember when I first got my first check, you know what I'm saying, with the 49, I'm like, oh, this how this works? All right, cool. I got a check for $20,000. You know what I did when I got back home?
What's that?
I walked to the West End Mall and I shopped. I bought new clothes, I bought new shoes, I bought jewelry, and I'm thinking that money gonna keep coming in. But, you know, the NFL, they say stands for not for long.
Yeah,
right?
I've heard that.
So you got to continue to be consistent. You got to stay healthy. And that was my issue. I just couldn't stay healthy. You know, I was good enough to play at that level, but I just kept getting hurt at the most inopportune moments. And so my career just didn't last long. And so now when I, you know, with the kids and stuff that I work with now, I talk to them about the importance of the weight room and getting stronger, taking care of your body, prehab over rehab, and all those different things, your nutrition, because that play a part in you having longevity in this game.
Man, there's so much there. So like, what do you feel like you could have done differently to prepare your body for the pressure that game puts on you?
Yeah, lift weights, man. I hated the weight room.
Really?
Right? I could run all day, and that's what I did. I can run, you know, run routes. I can do drills, but I just didn't spend enough time. I never fell in love with the weight room.
Got
right?
you. Do you feel like that would have affected your speed if you were?
I don't think so.
Bulky?
If you do it the right way, you know, there's different ways that you can lift, but still keep your explosiveness, still keep your speed. With football players, not bodybuilder, right? So I wouldn't be in there powerlifting, but doing different types of lifts that are complementary to what I do on the football field, right? To help me be more explosive and to help eliminate or reduce some of those knick-knack injuries that I was suffering, you know, from, you know, falling on the shoulder as a receiver, you know, playing wide receiver. So as a receiver, the chance of you getting hit on your shoulder or falling on your shoulder are very high, right? And so if I'm in the weight room, I'm doing all the different shoulder dumbbell workouts and making sure that I'm strong enough to withstand those falls or those hits, I think I would have been able to have a longer career. I ended up having multiple surgeries on my shoulder and all those different things. So I think that if I would have done that, if I could do anything differently, that's what I would do differently. You know, I would take weight room more seriously.
Don't skip the weights. So you always say don't skip leg day. Don't skip none of it.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Do it all, right?
Facts.
Yo, like, and I can't even imagine the mental toll that comes with facing the reality of the thing that you centered your life around has now come to a close way faster than you expected it to. How long did it take you to mentally get into a space to where you could accept it and figure out what the next pivot was?
For about a year. It took me about a year. I was down in the dumps when I kind of knew that my career was over and I had to figure out what my next move was going to be. I probably soaked for about a year, like just trying to figure like, damn, I was here, man. Like, is it really over? And just figuring out what my next move, you know, in life was going to be. At that time, I had a daughter. Shout out to Kayla, my daughter. And so I knew I couldn't just sit around and not make money. You know, I had to figure it out some kind of way. One of the things about my dad, you know, God rest his soul, he passed away in 2014, but one of the things that he always told me was to get your college degree. You know, that's something they can't take from you. Make sure you get your degree. And I really feel like he was prouder when I graduated from college than when I signed my first NFL contract, right? And so when it's all said and done, when I was through playing with the injuries and all that, I had a degree, right? I had a degree in social work. I had a bachelor's degree in social work. So I was like, you know what? let me go on the internet and Google jobs with with a BSW. And DFACS, Department of Family and Children Services, that was one of the first jobs that popped up, right?
Wow.
And so I just went over there and applied. I was like, they got caseworker positions in every county. I applied for every county in Georgia. I'm talking about Fulton, Clayton, Douglas, Coweta, I mean, you name it, every county, right, that was in the close proximity in the Atlanta area. And the only county that called me back was Douglas County. Hence how I wound up in Douglasville.
Okay.
And so I remember the supervisor name was Libby Smith, and she called me and said, "Hey, we want to bring you in for an interview." Right? So mind you, I went from high school football, college football to the NFL. I never really worked. I never had to work, right? So I didn't have any experience. So this is going to be my first experience. And so they brought me in to interview me. And I really didn't have a clue of what I was getting myself into because the position was for one of those social services case managers that go out to people's homes.
House to house, yeah.
And investigate allegations of abuse and neglect and child death and serious injuries and all those things. So it sounded interesting to me. And I remember learning a little bit about it, in my studies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I impressed them during the interview process and they gave me the job. But I remember her telling me, she said, we only brought you in for an interview because we thought it'd be cool to interview a professional football player, right? That's how it all started.
Yeah.
All right, just because of my background. But they said, we like you. When you came here, you were impressive. We think you'll be good for this field. And I've been with them about 22 years now.
Congrats on that,
Yeah.
man. Because I know a lot of times when you come from a space of limelight,
Mhm.
it's hard to, do what some people would consider civilian work or something that's not as, prime time.
For sure.
But man, sometimes the real rewards is like changing people's lives one handshake or eye contact at a time. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And like you can do more in that space sometimes than you can being on the field.
Absolutely. And I just feel like that's why I still do what I do now with the kids and the training because it all correlates, right? Because I'm a helping individual. I enjoy helping others. I enjoy seeing growth. You can't save them all, I understand that. But anybody who I can make an impact on, I would love to do it.
Indeed. How do you, it seems like you really got it focused and you locked in right now, but
Yeah.
how did you block out a lot of the distractions to achieve the goals that you was trying to achieve? Because it's
Yeah.
really easy to get lost in the sauce out there,
It
especially
is.
when things going well.
It is. And it's something that I raise my kids with. Keep the main thing, right? Tunnel vision, just stay focused on what's in front of you and try not to pay attention to any type of distractions because we know that they're going to come, right? The devil stay busy, as we know, right? And anytime God is blessing you or putting you in a certain position and then things are going well for you, the devil don't like that, right? So we got to stay, I call it staying steadfast in the face of adversity, right? All these adverse stuff going on around me, I'm only focused on what's in front of me. I'm keeping the main thing, what's pay my bills, right? What's taking care of my kids, putting food in their mouth and clothes on their back and a roof over their head. That's my main focus, right? It's not easy.
Yeah.
Right. But I think as I got older and I started to mature, it became easier.
Now, what's something that you sacrificed to get to where you are now?
Time. Because I spent so much time with other people's kids than my own kids, right? Because RouteKing training really started on the backs of my children. Because I got two kids. My daughter, she's 25 now, but Kayla Alexander, and then my son, he's named after me. We call him Deuce. He's Hilton Alexander State. We call him Deuce. And so I started training them when they was little, right? My little girl was first. And she wound up being this superior track athlete, right? She was a record holder in middle school. She was a hurdler. Record holder in middle school. She's the record holder in high school, 4-time state champion, national champion with the University of Louisville. She's still the record holder in Louisville in the 100-meter hurdles and the 60-meter hurdles. And then my son Deuce, I started training him at 4 years old in football and track. And he was a multi-time state champion in 100 and 200 meter coming up as a kid. He's a record holder in high school in the 200 meter dash. He went to Dutch County High School. Football star. So people started to see what I was doing with my kids, and they were like, "Hey, I want that. Like, can you train my kids?" Right? And so next thing you know, instead of just training my two kids, I had 2 other kids, 3 other kids. And before you know it, Headkrack, I had 40 kids on any given Sunday in one session. And it was just me. This was back when, now you look around, everybody training, right?
Yeah.
But everybody was coming to me. I would go over to Mays High School, I had a good relationship with them. They would let me use the field on Sundays. And any given Sunday between 12 to 3 o'clock, you would see 40 kids out on the field training with me and my kids. And RouteKing just continued to grow over the years. But the sacrifice was I went from spending that time and putting that tutelage into my children to everybody. So now they got to share me with the world.
Yeah,
and
that's
so now,
tough.
yeah, they losing that daddy time that we once had when it was just us.
In a race, who runs faster between you and your kids?
My kids. My kids. Now, I was fast.
Okay.
Right? I ran a 4.3 at the combine. Right. I had one of the best combine performances ever, especially from a black college athlete, right? But you know, they always say, man, you know, one of father's proudest moments, you got 4 boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of your greatest accomplishments is to see your boys be better than you
Absolutely.
in everything that you do, right? And I can say that both of my kids, my daughter and my son, are way better athletes than I ever was, right? But that's because they had, you know, some development, they had coaching, they had all this stuff coming up that I didn't have. I was just a raw athlete. I didn't train. Our training was just go outside and play, right? But now I got kids 4 and 5 years old, right? Your camera guy trained his kids, 5 and 6 years old, right? They started early, you know what I'm saying, at a very early age. And so now by the time they get to high school, they way more developed than I ever was. I say,
All
now
that
my
stuff is
son, man,
important.
yes, man, my son is 20 years old. He now plays wide receiver at Ole Miss football. Way better player than I was.
Really? I mean, you know, but I think, you know, life is a marathon,
Yeah.
right? You know, like, you know, your dad passed the baton
Yeah.
to you, you ran it as far as you
Yeah.
ran it, you
Yeah.
passed that to your kids and it keeps going. Because
Yeah.
even when I take my kids to like different sporting events, you know, you can see the kids who've had the additional enrichment. And my kids needed that. You know what I'm saying?
sure.
Like, you know, whereas like I poured into them more like artistically.
Yeah.
I wish I was more of a sports guy,
Gotcha.
you know, to where like, you know, like I could have been out there at the park, you know, like running routes with them,
No
you know,
doubt.
like, you know, but
No doubt.
you get, you know, God gives you the assignment that
For
you
sure.
need to do, you know, but because I see it come through in the creative things that they do,
Yeah.
you know, because like maybe they weren't supposed to be athletes, you know,
Yep.
maybe they do that
Yep.
for recreational purposes to stay in shape, but you definitely have a way with success and a formula that works for people because like, you know, like to be able to replicate that magic, then you realize it's not even it's a process.
Yeah.
You know, it's a process. So you
Yeah.
understand the process.
Absolutely.
5 to 10 years from now, where do you see RouteKing and everything you do with the kids from here? Like, I mean, has anybody made it to like the NFL yet?
Yeah. I got a lot. Well, I train a lot of NFL players. I mean, over the year, I've trained some of the top athletes at their heyday. Right. I trained Tyreek Hill. You know, when I started training Tyreek Hill, he was the #1 receiver in the NFL, highest paid and everything like that. Right. I've trained Stephon Diggs, Debo Samuel. I mean, all these guys at their prime. Cortland Sutton, Timothy Patrick, Calvin Ridley. You know, the list goes on and on. So I've trained a number of pros and still do to this day. But my group of kids that I was telling you about from Mays High School that I took all the way up, they are now in college.
Okay.
And they're some of the top college athletes, you know, in the country, and they will be draft picks. You know, I got at least 5 of them that's going to be a top 3-round draft pick type of guys. And these are kids that I've had since they were 5 and 6 years old. And so it's just a blessing, man, to be able to see that process. You talk about trusting that process, seeing that process and growth and development over the years to now where they're some of the top collegiate athletes in the country. I mean, that's a real proud moment for me.
It's like a never-ending conveyor belt of proud moments that you get to have. It starts with your kids, and then you're like, oh, the next wave, next people that grab. I mean, like, you know, like you can't even put a price tag on that. And like, not all, sometimes the rewards aren't money.
For sure.
It's the impact and the influence.
And that's what it's all about to that point. You know, throughout the years, as RouteKing started to grow, I wanted to continue to make more and more impact. So I've done a number of things to help do that, right? So I started a youth football and cheer academy. It's called Atlanta Bulldogs Football and Cheer Academy, ABA for short. Started that back in 2017. It's one of the largest, longest standing youth football organizations in the city. And it's known worldwide in the country, nationally. I also have this company that I work with, a couple of other individuals called QB IQ System and Route IQ System, where we take this show on the road. Like we travel. We go to Nashville, we go to Vegas, we go to Dallas. I mean, all over the country, training receivers and quarterbacks. right? I started Friday Night Lights. It's a skill showcase. V103 has been involved with that a whole
Okay.
lot. Yeah, man. Shout out to DJ Sturgis, Greg Street. They always reach out and bring me up to the station to talk about it. But this is why I get the opportunity to showcase and highlight high school kids from the age of 9th grade to 12th grade and give them more exposure to help them get a college scholarship one day. And so it's just a number of things, man, that I want to continue to do in 5 and 10 years from now. Eventually, my main goal is to have a community center in the city that service that community, after school programming, tutoring, nutritional programming, all those things right there in their community. Some of the nicest facilities, they can walk right in there, and they got basketball courts, they got football field, they got baseball field, like all those things right there at their disposal. So that's my ultimate goal.
Listen, y'all, not all heroes wear capes. You've seen two in this episode so far. People who are getting it done, making it happen, and making it shake. Yo, it's amazing work on behalf of, both of y'all, you and Memphis. Let's just say if the NFL called and was like, hey, listen, we see what you're doing with these kids.
Yeah.
Let's make this happen for these adults
That's
in the
right.
league.
That's right.
Would you coach a team?
I would. And then, God willing, it's a team that my son get drafted to.
Oh, man. That's a different version of the whole LeBron and Bronny Jr. dynamic. That's what that should have looked like, actually. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well,
no doubt.
man, thank you so much for sharing your
man.
story, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
We gonna watch you get cut. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk to both y'all at the
No
same
doubt.
time, man. Dive a little deeper, man. But thank you for keeping it trim and true with us, brother.
No doubt. Thank you,
For
bro.
real. Welcome back to Trim and True. We got two icons in the building. We got Memphis over here, RouteKing over here. How did y'all brothers meet?
I remember I was coaching football at Douglas County High School. I coached receivers there. And it was after one of them, sometimes we host middle school games there, right? And at the time, his son was playing for Chapel, was it Chapel Hill?
Yeah, Chapel Hill.
Yeah, Chapel Hill Middle School at the time. And after one of the games, he was on the field. He walked up to me like, hey, ain't you RouteKing? Oh, yeah, what's up? He said, man, I'll be watching your stuff, man. I love what you do. I want to get my son with you. Oh, yeah, for sure. So we exchanged information. And next thing you know, man, he started bringing his son to my sessions. And we were like, I cut hair too. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm looking for a barber out here in Douglasville. Hard to find a good barber,
Right.
Especially out here in Douglasville, right? So I started coming in. I said, oh, bro could cut, right? And so we just started talking, and he started learning more about my son. And he's like, man, that's the goals that I have for my own son. So I'm gonna keep on under you. And ever since then, I just kind of took his son, Dre, under my wing, and I've been training and coaching him, for 6 years now. And he's been my barber ever since, man.
Yeah.
Real cool guy. Outside of just being a great barber, he's just a dope person and good friend.
No doubt, man. Do you remember the first haircut that he got when he came in here?
Same way he been rocking, 10 fade.
Yeah.
He ain't changed it.
Ain't changed at all.
See, if we ever decide to build that little map that has the different pictures, like let me get the RouteKing. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it. Mr. Consistent.
Yo, man, and with y'all both being athletes, you know what I mean? Like, what are some commonalities and conversations that you have? Even though they're different sports, I mean, there's aspects of it that, are parallel.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. One time I was at the gym, I tried to run a 40. Yeah, it kind of went a little viral.
So let me tell you about that Headkrack. So one day I was training Dre at the gym, and I was teaching him how to run the 40-yard dash, right? Going through his stance, his starts, and all those things. And so he tried to make as many sessions as he can. So he was just watching from the sideline. But I guess Dre wasn't, doing too well to his liking. So he's like, man, you sorry. I just hear him on the sideline. You don't know what you're doing. You slow. And eventually, I guess that competitive nature of him just said, man, watch out. I got it. Let me show you how to do it. He got jeans on, right? He just come out there. And so I had the 40-yard dash timer set up, right? The machines and everything like that. I didn't say anything to him. I said, I'm just going to watch and just see. Man, he got down in one of the ugliest stands you ever seen before. He put the wrong hand down. He was about to fall. I said, other hand, Memphis. He said, oh, okay. So he put the other hand down. He paused for a second, and then he just went. I think he took about 3 or 4 steps. And then next thing you know, I just started to see that he started to tumble. Man, he fell face first, knocked over all the equipment, the turf burns, right, everything. I'm talking about everybody in the gym was laughing at him. You know what I'm saying? He fell, busted his butt because his pants were coming down off his butt as he was trying to run.
Yo, it was a series of unfortunate
Yes, man.
events.
Yes.
If I've never heard one in my life.
We posted it and it went viral, bro. Not for good reasons, though.
Yeah.
So, how did you feel after going viral in that moment?
I don't know, man. I was just laughing. I was like, well, I ain't gonna lie, my pride was kind of hurt a little bit. Because there was a bunch of women around. So, that's the most important part. So, yeah, man, I was just, pride got to me a little bit, Yeah.
Yeah, but you're here to tell your story. You can use them. But one thing I can say about both of y'all, y'all both very confident individuals, man. Do you feel like confidence is something you're born with or something that builds over time?
I think it's a little of both, man. The whole nature nurture, conversation. I think that my dad, he was a very confident person. I look at some of all his old pictures and stuff like that. He was always suited and booted, had the suits on, the vest, always clean jewelry and all those things. And he just carried himself with a certain aura. And me as a kid seeing that, I wanted to mimic that, right? So, I kind of got a little bit of that from him. But then, too, with my own personal successes and things started to go well, and I started to have my own confidence and build on top of that too. So I think it was a little bit mixture of both for me.
What'd you say?
I say the same, man. Watching my dad, get up every morning, go to work, and like no matter being pissed off at the world, he still got me when to go get it. So, it's definitely how I feel about it, man. I do the same thing. I can get up even when I don't want to get up.
That's what we got to do, right?
Yeah.
The world gonna go on with or without you.
No doubt.
And it's kind of a part of being a man. And I know like what that means different things to different people. Like, what does being a man today mean to you? I'll start with you.
Providing, protector, and seeing your kids be better than you.
What you say?
Hey man, I piggyback on that 110%. The man's responsibility is to provide for his children, be a positive role model, somebody they can look up to, come to talk to about anything, to be able to protect them from any hurt, harm, or danger. There's nothing I won't do for my kids, especially my daughter. She got me wrapped around her finger. And my daughter right now she's Douglas County Sheriff.
Really?
She's a sheriff, Douglas County Sheriff. She's on patrol, and I still want to protect her when she should be protecting me.
The job of dad never changes, no matter how old your kids get or what job or position they assume.
No doubt.
That's gonna be the thing.
No doubt. So all that plays a big part in just being a man. I would never call a man that don't take care of his responsibilities, especially when it comes to his children. No matter what relationship you got going on with the mom, the kids are innocent, and the kids deserve to be loved by their father, protected by their father, and taken care of by their father.
Yeah, man. Like when life gets heavy, because a lot of times as men we do have to suffer in silence and just stay stoic and just keep pushing through.
Yeah.
What do you do to take the load off?
Here, barbershop. This is my sanctuary. This is my peace. When I hear the clippers come on, I don't care about nothing no more.
Something pleasant about that buzz when you hit that switch on. You already know what time it is.
For me, it's training. Like you said earlier, I heard you say in the conversation with Memphis, when you're doing something that you love, it don't feel like work. So people tell me like, man, when do you sleep? Because I got so many things going on, right? I got my hand in so many pots, and it seems like I'm always training, but I just love what I do. All right, I just love the development. I love to see the fruits of the labor these kids put in, and so that's my getaway. That's my getaway. I don't get tired. I really don't.
And was there anything y'all both had to unlearn to become as great as you are in your prospective fields today?
Yeah, patience. Because sometimes you get them little kids in here, man, I want to throw it through the window. But, it was patience, man, for real. Being able to adjust and, cope with the parents and then cope with the kid and then watch the parents just stand there and watch your kid go crazy and they ain't trying to do nothing. And you looking like, it's your child. Like, why your child like, But you know, that's another story.
But have you ever lost a client because you had to like, course correct a child? Because like
Um,
sometimes, like you got a lot of single moms in here or, or even single dads for that matter too,
Yeah.
that don't have that balance in the house to like, put those behavioral guardrails up, right? And a guy was telling me like, he had lost a client because, he didn't spaz out throwing through a window or
Right.
nothing, but like, he corrected the in real because he could tell there was no man in his
For
life
sure.
telling him no. Like, have you ever had to deal with that?
Nah, I never had to do that. At the old shop, at Gino's Barber Lounge, we used to call it Headlock Barbershop. So your child can we throw your child in the headlock and cut his head. And the parents was cool with it. They weren't tripping about it, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just took that and kept on going with it.
That's like the haircut version of Scared Straight. You know what I'm saying? You bring him in, show him a tough time. Like,
That's
yo,
right.
we gonna get this work.
Yeah.
What about you, man? What you had to unlearn?
What I had to unlearn was that you can't save everybody.
Mm.
You know, and I think that as a young trainer and a young, youth football coach, I felt like I could, right? I want to try to bring every child under my wing, right? Bring them to my house and, show up to the schools when, if a dad wasn't in their lives, show up to the school when the teacher calls saying they being out of line. But no matter what you do, man, kids going to make their own choices at the end of the day. And I try to teach them at an early age there's consequences to every choice you make. And I think that I've had a number of kids that have turned out very, very well, right? Did really well throughout high school and school and sports and all that. Got a full scholarship, went to college. But at the same time, I got a number of kids that went left, right? That ended up in prison or, ended up dying in the streets. And I had to get to the point where I didn't take those type of things personally like it was my fault, right? I just try to do the best I can, what I can, and a little time that I have with them. And those that don't really take heed to what I'm trying to give them, I just got to let God deal with them and just pray for them. So I just had to unlearn that, man. I try to save them all, but you can't.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to get, not necessarily a superhero complex, but a, you do want to save everybody. You feel like you can make the difference. What could I have done differently to prevent an outcome? You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when you think about the same formula worked for so many people,
For sure.
and you can't beat yourself up about the couple people it didn't work for.
To that point, man. The flip side of that too is you can't help everybody because some people, although they'll be appreciative, they're individuals that's going to be appreciative of your help and support you forever, loyal to you forever. But there are other individuals that'll take advantage of it. They'll use you until they don't need you anymore, right? And so that's another thing that I've learned in this industry.
So like on a lighter side, man, there's a lot of haircuts that we've seen come through the game throughout the years. Like going back, like what was your favorite hairstyle you used to idolize? Like, yo, I want that cut.
Ball phase, why we rocked in Memphis with ball phase and Wade Nouveau.
Yo, I haven't heard that mentioned in years. Like I haven't heard Wave Nouveau since Ricky Smiley mentioned it. Because I guess it was maybe like a Memphis, like a Tennessee,
Nouveau,
Alabama thing. Damn, Wave Nouveau. So for those who don't know, because it seems like it is a regional thing, what is a Wave Nouveau?
So Wade Nouveau, well, before it was a mohawk, it was Wade Nouveau. So we take the curl and shape it into a V. You know what I'm saying? And we used to do designs on the side of the head and stuff. So it was like a curl. But it actually was a Jerry curl, but it was more of a big old waves into the curl.
So, you guys seem like we're from a similar pocket of time. Is it safe to say Turbo from Breaking 1 and 2 had a Wave Nouveau, right? Because he kind of had like
it was similar to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just trying to put it in perspective for those without imagination.
But the Wade Nouveau wasn't so, like, the Wade Nouveau wasn't so juicy. You know what I'm saying? No diddy. But you know what I'm saying? We in the era now. But now, like, it wasn't like Soul Glow. You know what I'm saying? It was more, it was kind of dry, but it wasn't dry. You know what I'm saying? But you can tell that basically like he had good hair.
Got you.
You know.
No oily residue.
Yeah. The Wade Nouveau was just
Soul Glow.
It was just smooth. You know what I'm saying? And everybody wanted the Wade Nouveau.
Why do you think it stopped?
I don't know, man.
Because it seems like there's a few styles where people just say 1, 2, 3, break. We ain't doing it no more.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
I
and
don't
like
know,
the
man.
Jerry curl
Times changed.
and that seems like one of them too. Because like I only hear about it very sparingly.
Yeah, man. Wave Nouveau, man.
Times change, man.
Yeah.
If you have a Wave Nouveau and you're watching this video, drop a comment in the chat so we can follow your profile. What's
sure.
a hairstyle, man, that you remember growing up and you used to idolize?
Yeah, man. Y'all still to this day, man. A little boosie fade. You just go to the barbershop, man. Give me a boosie fade, right? High fade with the line, with the part. That's what we used to rock.
I can't picture him any other way.
Yeah.
You know, like there's certain styles you have to change.
Uh-huh.
You know, like even Ludacris didn't have the same hairstyle
Yep.
that he started with.
Yep.
But the boosie fade works for him no matter what year it is.
Absolutely.
It just very works. Iconic. What's a hairstyle that you never want to see again?
That nappy look, man. I'm just
Yeah.
tired of nappy look shit, man. I mean, it just, I don't know. I don't even know where it came from. Just kids start wanting that nappy look, man. They don't want to pick their hair out.
Yeah.
They be having that shit all dry. And I be like, man, come on, man. Come on, man. Y'all tripping out, man. But yeah, I'm tired of nappy look shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blame it on the Boondocks, the animated version, because
ah.
I feel like Huey and Riley both
That's
had
what they
the,
had,
the
yep, for
nappy
sure.
afro. Because it was
Yeah,
one thing
bro.
when it was in the comic strip, but when you got
Yeah.
to see it on Adult Swim,
Yeah.
For sure.
I think enough people got their eyes on it. It's like, yo, I want the Huey and Riley.
Yeah, for
Now,
sure.
the real MVP is the person that sold them sponges.
Yeah, no doubt.
His name Yusef. Yusef, I actually battled Yusef a long time ago. So Yusef came in there, he had a house sponge. A sponge like the regular sponge like you wash dishes with, he poked holes in them.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was like, what is he doing? And he just started sponging the dude's head with an extra house sponge, you know what I'm saying? He did it. And he turned it to the sponge. And actually Yusef is the person who started the sponge. So it's called curl sponge or something like that. But back then it was an actual
Just a
dish sponge.
Yeah.
He poked holes in it and messed the whole event up with it. And won.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is he like retired comfortably now at this point in the game?
Yusef
Like,
still cut hair.
really?
Yeah.
But did he make millions of dollars off the sponge?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then everybody started mimicking his stuff and then going from there. But Yusef is the person. He's actually here in Atlanta.
See? Learn from this. What's the style you never want to see come back?
2 of them.
All right.
I don't want to see the Pee Wee. You remember the Pee Wee Herman? But they had just a little fat foil right here in the front.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this Pee Wee Herman style, and then the high right, low left.
High right, low left. Give me an example of a person who had the Bobby Brown Gumby?
The Gumby.
Oh, it's
The Gumby.
crazy how regionally
Bobby-
we call things different
call it high
things.
right, low
Because I
left.
knew what you was talking about. I was like, because like when you said Pee Wee, I'm thinking of like like a white person's hair, but
Yeah.
I do know what you're talking about when you
Yeah.
got that look. But the hot man, like I can't front. Growing up, I always wanted the Bobby
Bobby
Brown.
Brown.
Every little step I take. The way Kwame had his
Do the
with
dance.
two-tone.
Yeah.
But then like the way Killmonger kind of remixed it
Yeah.
with the dreads with the little
Yeah,
thing. Like,
yeah.
man, by then I had just cut my dreads, man. If I'd have saw Black Panther 2 months earlier,
Yeah, for sure.
I'd have stayed in the fraternity. You know, I messed up. But yo, those were very unique because
Yeah.
usually there's one particular hairstyle that catches a stray on here. It's the booty fade.
Oh, that's the Texas
the
thing.
South Dallas,
That's that
like
Texas thing,
yo, so
yeah.
many episodes that one has caught arrows. But
For sure.
you guys brought something new to the table, and for that
Sure.
we thank you.
No doubt.
But yo, man, thank you so much for being so transparent and giving us slices of life, man. Like you have no idea how your stories can put the spark in people, man. Because a lot of times, like I think, we're up against so much, and to see people who got it out of the mud, suffered setbacks, figured out a way to pivot into something different, and just refocus their intention, it goes such a long way. If there was something that you wanted people to take away from your story personally, what would you say that is, Memphis?
Never give up. That's about it. Never doubt yourself.
It's simple and plain, but that's a shirt. What would you say, brother?
Life is a marathon, not a sprint.
It's the back of the shirt.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We're selling a 2-sided shirt
There
now.
you
You
go.
know what I'm saying? Like, nah, man. Appreciate the gems and the
No,
jewels, man.
thank you,
Thank y'all
bro.
both for
Thank
keeping
you,
it
bro.
trim and true.
For sure.
No doubt.
My brother Memphis. So what's the spray we rocking with today?
Gotta be. The stuff that women used to use back in the day. It used to be this chick I used to go to school with. I used to tell herself, when I used to smell it, I'd be like, let me smell your hair. Oh, they just smelled good back then, you know. So yeah.
Clippers that you're using today, what made you pick those?
Lightweight, where first off they're Babyless Pros. They're lightweight. They I guess it's just like lightweight clippers, and the battery pop out like a clip.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, just put it back in and go to work.
Like, I'm impressed. They even made the sound. You know what I'm saying? Like, what about that thing where, like, you know, like it feels like medicine on the back of your head?
Like a
Like,
good alcohol. Yeah,
Just regular alcohol?
Nah, I don't use regular. I use they have variation of them. It's called original. It just smells good. You know, sometimes some smell like Baccarat. Some of them just different type of fragrance they have though.
do you ever do your own blend?
Nah, man, I just buy them from my supply guy. Some Samurai Spirit. Just know he gonna wake your ass up. I ain't lying.
I'm gonna get that for my kids, but I need to wake them up.
I'm telling you, man, wake you up.
Yeah, it is. Right, got it.